Good evening, this is Gavriel Jacknin, and welcome to Halacha Day, number 1038. Halacha Day keeps the Yetzer Hara Away, and today we'd like to thank Jason Levinson for sponsoring the Halacha. Thank you very much, Jason. This Halacha is in your merit. May you only have blessing, success, and happiness in your life. Okay, we are continuing the laws of blessings on foods made of the 5 species of grain. Even if dough was kneaded only with water and then boiled, you recite the blessing Borei Minei Mizonos. Again, that's the blessing for cake, spaghetti, and now, as we just mentioned. And after it, Alamechia. That's the after blessing. This is so even if you ate enough to be satiated. Similarly, ground grain, groats, or whole grain, like Cheerios. He also mentions here a common example of ground grain or common breakfast cereals such as oatmeal, farina. Whole grain refers to such foods as boiled barley, right? So similarly, ground grain, groats, or whole grain that was made of the 5 species of grain and then boiled, the blessing is also Borei Minei Mizonos, and afterwards Al Hamechia, even if you eat enough to satisfy your appetite. If you eat them with the soup that they were boiled in, and similarly foods made of dough that are eaten with the soup or with the milk that were cooked in, you need not recite a blessing on the soup or milk because they're secondary and lose their significance to the food. Classic example is Cheerios and milk. You only make one blessing. Just make the blessing on the Cheerios. You don't need to make a blessing on the milk because the milk, even though it certainly helps the taste of the Cheerios, but it's secondary to the Cheerios. But if you cooked only a small amount of cereal or groats and the main object is only for the soup or the milk, in such a case, they do not lose their significance and you recite the blessing. Sha'akol over it. So if you just, hey, I just want tons of milk with my Cheerios. I love the milk. So then, yes, you would have to make a special blessing, Sha'akol, over the milk as well. And even though you eat the cereal or groats also, the soup or milk do not lose their significance because they are considered the main object. Nevertheless, in order to do the mitzvah in the most appropriate manner, it is proper that you first recite the blessing Sha'akol only on the soup or the milk and drink a small amount by itself, avoiding any of the grain, and afterwards recite the blessing Borei Minei Mizonos on the cereal or groats, because although the intent of the cooking was not for them, they do not become secondary. So in that case, just he's saying have that milk first and then have the Cheerios in that bowl. Grain is always considered a major food and does not become secondary to forfeit its own blessing as long as its purpose is to add flavor to the food being cooked. And that was your halacha. Thanks for listening to Sponsor Halacha 36-100 for the gold. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.